Okay, so the pipeline ran and it got all the way through the synthesis step, but then a deep dive, it actually failed with an error. Can't subtract offset naive and offset aware date times. It's probably a difference in the date fields that it's using in the code and the date fields in the database or something like that. So we'll just be lazy and copy and paste all of this and let Claude figure it out. Yeah, there we go. The created add timestamps from SQLite come back as naive date times, no time zone info, but now is time zone aware. The fix is to handle this in Freshness multiplier. Okay. So let's run our tests one more time. That works. Now we'll run the pipeline, and since we added the resume parameter, we can simply use that so we don't have to start over. So it should pick up right at the deep dive. Okay, it successfully ran now. So we have a deep dive on this hypothetical startup called VeloLift or VeloLift, a mobile app that uses your phone's camera to provide real-time feedback on bar speed, form, and rep count, helping you optimize every lift for maximum strength gains without buying expensive hardware. The writer has a nice catchy headline, "Forget your Apple Watch. This is for people who actually lift." And then a bit more of a preview, visualization. Let's maybe quickly look at the results. And then one thing I'm realizing is that it's really hard for us to actually verify that it's applying the new ranking function for candidate selection. So we'll actually ask it to add some more output. So let's quickly take a look at the outputs. So here's our output directory. Let's open this in the preview. Fitness tech. Okay, there's an article citation. Oh, interesting. React Native or Flutter. Okay. Oh, I like that image. That's a pretty neat style. Very cool. Let's pull up our database. I don't think there's really anything much to see here, though. All right, so let's add some new output. So I'm going to say add some output for the candidate selection step to log the top 20 candidates after applying the scoring function. For each, print the archetype, theme, and the scores: raw, freshness, fatigue, and final. Okay, it finished. I see. So it had to implement this new scored candidate data class, returns that. And that way we actually have all the data that we need, so we can log all this debug information. Cool. Sounds good to me. Let's try running this. There should be a quick run, since there shouldn't really be anything new to triage and extract. We'll still fetch everything from the news API. And again, if you want, it's easy to implement a command line option that skips that step. Okay, it finished. Let's actually scroll up a bit. So here are the 3 new candidates. As usual, the meta trend is scored the highest. Then we have the friction point and then the rabbit hole. And then here's our new ranking output. And that's interesting. It looks like it's ranking all the friction points the highest, and then the 3 meta trends, and then the rabbit holes. That's probably because of the most recently published candidates. So let's actually pull up our... Hold on, I'm going to have to close this for a sec. So if we look at the runs table, let's sort this. So these are the most recent runs. And then from each run, we can now get to the candidate. So this is the one we just selected. So this one is a friction. Oh, it's nice. You can hover over this and it actually shows you the candidate information, right? So we just published a friction point. Before, we actually had a rabbit hole last time. And as a reminder, that's when we successfully ran our new selection algorithm for the first time, which already applied the fatigue multiplier. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't have even chosen that rabbit hole. So that's good, right? And there we had a meta trend, friction point. So that means that, so before the current one, the last ones were rabbit hole and meta trend. So if we pull up the output again, the friction point ideas did not get a fatigue multiplier because it's been a while since we've published a friction point idea. The meta trend got a 0.8 fatigue multiplier, or all three of them rather, because we published the meta date 2 times ago. And rabbit hole got a 0.6 multiplier because the most recent idea was a rabbit hole. So this is working as designed. And then freshness, again, this is a smaller multiplier, right? Just between 0.9 and 1.0, but it does add up. So then here we have the final scores. So now we end up with scores here between 40 and 88. So that looks pretty solid. And you'll find that, if you keep running this over time, things will actually tend to balance out pretty nicely, and you'll have a good distribution of different archetypes. So looks good. We'll take a quick look at the output as well. So here we have a nice news article, lots of article citations, and then our image. Oh, cool. That's kind of a new style. I kind of like this. Okay, neat.